Examination has always been described as the best way to test the ability of a student or a candidate. In Cameroon, the definition and the description of exam has taken a different dimension. From ENS, QS, ENAM, and now EMIA, we've seen how this has been wrongly defined. With just a name, you are eligible to pass an exam and coming from a particular region or division of origin, which just indicates how gullible the process has become in Cameroon. In one of the post-electoral hearing in 2018 during the presidential election, one of the candidates who claimed he won the election posed a question to Chief Justice Clement Atangana, who was sitting in at the time to get the petitions at the Constitutional Council. His question was, what does it take for him to write a concours to become a Bulu citizen or a Bulu native? And what does it take for him to be called Mvondo or for him to be called Atangana? His message to the Cameroon's Constitutional Council was well understood by many Cameroonians watching live on TV the constitutional deliberation, and equally understanding what Professor Maurice Kamto was saying as far as that is concerned. Today, we've seen that applicable at the just ended ENAM examination with the results out. The results are speaking volume and giving us what we saw at the Constitutional Council as far as that question was posed. With the most brilliant students of the ENAMs coming from the Center-South region with 76%, the East region coming with 3%, the North and Southwest region is coming with a total of 4%, meaning if you have to divide that into two, the Northwest region will have 2% and the Southwest region will have 2%. The South and Northwest region, which have been the hotspot of the ongoing Anglophone crisis, many are of the opinion that the results of the just ended ENAM examination is a slap to the face of democracy, slap to the face of Vivian Sam, slap to the face of national integrity and integration, and a slap to the face of those who are pushing for effective decentralization. Many Anglophone elites who are pushing for national integrity, decentralization, one and indivisible Cameroon are equally wondering why such a result should be published with Anglophone having just 4%. A lot of Anglophones who are of the opinion of national integration and unity wants that the elite of North and Southwest region to speak out and denounce the unbalanced nature of this result. It is more than 1 week since the results were proclaimed. The elite of North and Southwest region are muted as far as this result is concerned. On other issues as far as effective decentralization is concerned, they are very active as far as that is concerned. The question now of the day is, what becomes of the Vivian Sam that we've been preaching left and right? Is it not time for us, the people of North and Southwest region, to eat together at ENAM and not just to Vivian Sam? As someone said, the problem of North and Southwest region is not that they don't want to live together with those from other regions. The problem is eating together, in what he captioned Manjon and Sam. And with the just ended ENAM examination, it is time for stakeholders to understand that voici le moment pour Manjon and Sam. This is House of Commons with me, Tamai Javis. A happy Sunday to you. That is how we kickstart House of Commons with an editorial to give you what is at stake as far as this is concerned. The balanced nature of ENAM result is our topic of discussion and motion today, in which we shall be discussing with our panelists who are already in the house. And to begin, I introduce to you a public relation and a crisis scholar at Germany who is joining us here for his very first time. He's been in the north and southwest region, and he is equally an indigene of the southwest region. I call him Brian FOMUKONG, former president of the Association of Student Journalists in the University of Boya, and now a citizen journalist. Brian, you're welcome to the program. It's a privilege to have you.
Thank you very much, Javis, and thank you for having me.
Thanks very much. How is Germany over there?
Germany is fine. We're all battling with the global pandemic, which is everywhere, but so far, so good. Everything is fine. We give glory to God.
Okay, I want to call on our technical team to work on the sound. Why those on Facebook are complaining that the sound is not effective. So if we could have the sound and the images, they don't synchronize. We want to equally welcome you. Joining us is Song Derrick. Song Derrick, he is equally here with us, the civil society advocate. Song Derrick, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Javis. Thank you for inviting me to this edition of House of Common. Thank you, thousands and millions of viewers of My Media Prime. And I say shout out to everyone who listens to the program. We pray that our contributions will be positive to contribute for nation building.
Thank you very much. Here in the studio, he's been practicing from when God called Abraham, and he's someone who understands the dynamics of the legal profession and political dynamics of Cameroon. He's been very instrumental in not just giving contribution as to how the pillars of the nation of national unity should be structured. He's been there to ensure that justice is served to the unborn, the born, and the dying who are already existing. He's been equally there to ensure that politics is given a first leave it deserved with his political party, the Reform Party, a party which he believes will one day rule Cameroon from a perspective of democracy, not just chanting in its mouth, but to do the things that democracy is supposed to be done. Here with us in the studio is Senior Barrister ACHU Emmanuel. Senior Barrister ACHU, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Tama Javis. Good afternoon, our lovely audience. I have to ask myself the question whether I should call you an international audience or a locomotive audience, because you always start off very timidly. Less than 50 people, but by the end of the day, we start hitting the rocks. So I think we're going to have a nice time. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Senior Barrister ACHU, and of course here in the studio we equally have a Pan-Africanist, someone who believes in the unity of Africa, the culture and preservation of Africa from its different dynamics, and it says that cultural imperialism must be stamped out of Cameroon, and our culture of Africa need to be internationalized in such a way that you can one day say, of course, won't be as it is, and the white will understand that this is coming from a particular region of Africa. And you're welcome, Professor Mark.
Thank you very much, Javis, and to my fellow panelists, and to you million viewers out there watching at us this morning. As my fellow panelists rightly said, we are beginning timid, but I'm certain by the end of the day we would have made the clock sound. So I'm sure that you are already glued to your TV and ready with a pen to actually take down some notes. Good morning to you. Okay.
Good morning to you. We have indications that the network is breaking on social media. We want to call on our technical team to look into that while we continue with the program. You can equally watch us on YouTube. Our YouTube is BT Media Group on YouTube. So kickstart the program today. I will start with you, Senior Barrister. Imperatively, you have more knowledge as to the foundation of this nation and to how ENAM has been always constituted. The motion for today, we are looking at the unbalanced nature of the result of ENAM, balanced ENAM result. Anglophone elites stay mute. Will regional autonomy surmount to these challenges?
Thank you, Javis. Did I hear you talk of the most intelligent student scoring 76%? No, I think you meant the most lucky, the luckiest of the students having 76%.
And that's from Center South.
Well, that's the luckiest one. ENAM is a jungle, and in that jungle, it is only the survival of the fittest. And now it looks like the jungle master seems to be a son of the soil, and he wants to be feeding all the local wild animals from around his village. So there is nothing to do with what all of us have known of ENAM, which has been this elite school where the government of Cameroon claims to train the elite force of the government, the administrative elite, those in charge of finance, those in charge of magistracy, those in charge of customs and all the like, even those in charge of the record registry. So this is no longer that force. We are told in days gone by that this school was functioning according to what they used to call regional balancing. Regional balancing. So if you come from the areas that were deemed to be scholarized and you scored 100%, somebody who comes from an area that is thought not to be scholarized, they used to talk of extreme north, and who scores a bare 51% will be called up and you will be kept aside. The problem in this current exam is that we have been told that the Director General of ENAM has positioned 90% of the candidates from his family. That's what we've been told. I don't have their birth certificates to verify that, but I think there can be no smoke without fire. So we are expecting this man to come up and debunk this information, which we think is a scandal. His appointment to that place was, first of all, a bigger scandal because a student, a schoolboy, cannot be entrusted with the management of a kingdom. This young man left that school a meager 2 years before and was asked to man the institution, to head the institution that was being given the full charge of training the elite force of the country's administration. All of us, myself in front, decried this appointment and we said no. We're told to give the youth a chance.
That's not a youth.
You can now see what use the youth is making of the chance given to it. I think that this is a very bad example of a person who should be given a chance. All the principles, because normally a school like ENAM, after this man has produced his results, these things have to be sent to the Minister of Public Service. They should even be sent to the head of the government, who ought to look at it. Now, if we have this type of results coming to the public, does it mean that the government in its entirety has failed in its public service mission of giving this country a competent and capable elite? Because if you take people who have to be trained to man all these administrative services, they should be not only competent, but they should be capable of handling the situation. Now, when you carry 90% from one family, look at their names. Even if they are going to deny, look at the names. You will tell me they are Asumu, they are Mbarga, all that. It is from different villages. Okay, all the villages of that area are from one region. Why? Why would only one region have 90% and all the others
76%? Center South.
Now my able coordinator here said that Northwest and Southwest, I prefer Southern Cameroon, has a meager 4%.
And you have to divide that.
A meager 4%.
If you divide that, it means that 2% per region. And if
that is not even up to
2%,
one candidate per region. We're just saying 4% because they couldn't go below one candidate. It would have been 0. So, are we saying here that we can trust anybody to train our elite for us anymore? Because if they don't call their sons up for training, sons and daughters up for training, it means that you will be absent in the future call for appointments.
okay.
So that simply means that this is another reason why I personally, I should not trust anybody to manage my affairs for me. Please, we have said that if it is for training of customs, finance officers, public finance officers, and all the rest, yes. But judiciary, you train judicial support staff for the registry, but not magistrates, because in English law, we don't train magistrates in schools. We recruit them from among the practicing magistrates and judges in the field. So they should allow us run our system.
Like we see in the United States where they are
Nigeria next door.
Where judges are appointed, then they have to go through
scrutiny
at the Senate before they are conferred to be a judge.
Correct.
And they must have high moral standard.
The population will tell you this man was caught cheating on his wife here, and he should not be given the appointment. That is what should prevail. We have a superior system, sir. No need hiding. Our judicial system is superior. Allow us manage our affairs the way they should be managed. We don't want this type of situation anymore where one individual, because he has been appointed director general, takes upon himself to flout all the laws of the land and put in front of public interest, personal interest. So we think that it is a heresy to maintain that ENAM there as a school for public administration.
Thank you very much, Senior Barrister. We'll be coming back to you to ask you the next question, which will have to do with regional, looking at the regional election and far as that process of ENAM is concerned. Sir Brian Allen FOMUKONG, are you there?
I'm right here, Javis.
We are looking at this context of you are a crisis expert as far as this is concerned, and it's equally a public relation issue to the state of Cameroon at a time when the nation is looking for national unity and integration and regional balance, each theory, but yet we still see the marginalization at its peak. I don't just understand the situation. You are a specialist in this. Where are we? And you are a son and daughter. You are a son of the Southwest region.
Well, Javis, permit me extend first of all my greetings to all those watching the program at this time. And to respond to you, it's pitiful, first of all, because the mysticism of the admissions into ENAM over the years have always been decried by Cameroonians across the board. And in a glaring situation like this, where the marginalization is coming up again, and in a very critical time in our country, I call it critical because a lot of things are at stake in the moment, where people are struggling to look for peace, to get stability, and all of these. And yet, some people still think that, okay, they can continue the way things used to be in the beginning or before. But things are changing in Cameroon, and it is high time for administrative officials, for the administration and those in power to know that, okay, this is changing. I listened to a report the other day from one of the local channels on all of this, and I cried because it's pitiful that you get all the positions, you get all the places, and you give them out to a particular tribe from people from a particular region, and yet you continue marginalizing those in a particular region, and yet we talk of a vision 2035. How do we arrive at that vision? How do we get to our target point if we don't empower the people across the board? If we feel that no, power must be given to only people from a particular region. Things are not done this way. Sincerely, if you look at it from my standpoint as a crisis expert or a public relation expert, it doesn't tell well of the nation. It doesn't tell well of those in power, like, okay, we want peace, we want things to be fine. If you want things to be fine, you want peace, you want a level playing field for all, why don't we maintain and respect the philosophy behind ENAM and strike for regional balance? If you're giving 4% admission rate for the entire Anglophone region, and yet just one area has 90%, what are we telling? At the end of the day, you come and preach peace to people and you expect people to accept peace and accept that, no, everything is fine. It doesn't work that way, Javis, to be very sincere with you. I think it's high time that those in power step up and effect changes when necessary to make things balanced. Because if you're looking at creating peace, you're looking at creating a conducive situation where everybody will be happy. Because at times, we usually say it's not all about winning. It's not about giving success to a particular group of people, but you have to strike a compromise. If you've been empowering a particular group of people over the years, why don't we strike a compromise this time around? Look at how it is. Look at the marginalization and everything, and we are looking at, okay, we want things to be fine, and we are talking about peace. We are talking about all of these situations coming to being normal. It's totally not good.
Senior barrister he has highlighted an issue that this probably should have been done from a basis of equating what we call the regional balance, and he equally said that this he cannot entrust a system where judges are being selected from a school, are being trained from a school, that nowhere is that done, that a judge is trained from a school.
Yeah, sincerely, I want to agree there with the senior barrister, because if you look at even across the globe, you look at the Anglo-Saxon system and you look at other leading democratic nations, you see how judges are being appointed. It's a process, Jarvis. You don't get into school, you study the theory and you come and lord over those who are in the field who have experience. To be a judge, experience counts a lot. You expect a senior barrister or somebody who have been in the field, who have studied law, who have practiced law, to be appointed and then go through the vetting process and then confirmed as a judge. Then you're not, okay, this is a magistrate, because you don't just come and, okay, applying theory. It's at times you go beyond theory. It goes into practicals. It goes to how do you merge all of these. You don't just get somebody who has just graduated with a first degree in law, or somebody who had admission into ENAM, and you train the person based on theory, and the next thing you're appointing that person as a judge to come and preside over cases. There must be weaknesses. There must be weaknesses. And if you look at it in such a way, how do you get to trust the system? Just as the senior barrister said, it's difficult to trust such a system, because you cannot count on the experience of the judge. You cannot count on him being flexible. He will want to go by the book. And if we are talking going by the book, you know our country, you know how things are being worked in our country. You get because one of the things we ask is, you are getting a judge into ENAM. Which of the systems are you training? We know the complexity of the two systems of law which is being practiced in our country. Which of the system applies in ENAM? And if you are appointing a judge from a school like that, which of the system do you expect that judge to apply when he or she is in court? So all of these things come into play.
Thank you very much, Brian. We'll be coming back to you. Stand by. Let me come now to Professor Mark before coming to Song Derrick. Professor Mark, Professor Mark, you are honestly, it's funny, but I must ask you this: what accounts for the fact that we've been talking about the much acclaimed regional balance, and we're talking about national integrity, but at one point in time we have a kind of biased result? Is it that the people of North and Southwest region are not intelligent, and the most intelligent people in the entire Cameroon are the people from Center South? If you look at the percentage, 76, since examination is the only way you can test the ability of a child, not the knowledge.
Before I get to actually respond deep to that question, I want to begin by saying that in the first place, ENAM is not supposed to be an institution that should be actually maintained in Cameroon, because that particular institution is a colonial institution that was actually established to be able to raise colonial masters, or taskmasters, who were supposed to man the affairs of the colonial master. And if that institution is still maintained, it implies that they are still doing the same job that they were supposed to be doing. So the manner in which they actually select persons to do that would depend on who is closer to the taskmaster. That's the thing that you must get to understand. Those who are close to the taskmaster are the ones who will be chosen to be able to keep on with the enslavement or the colonialism that is taking place. So if you feel like Cameroon has already gotten its independence, then that's a lie, because that's not independence. So that particular institution is proof enough. Is proof enough that Cameroon is still under colonial leadership and colonial rulership. So with my understanding of how that particular selection is done, because I don't want to say that was based on an examination. That was not based on any examination, because if we have to put examinations on the ground, then I will be sincere to tell you that some particular students from some particular area would have been the best to be taken more. But these particular individuals whom we see, the person running the institution is somebody from Central South, as you mentioned. And so you don't expect that when like it is said in one of the African proverbs, when your brother is on top of the plum tree, then you surely eat the black plum. So it is just what is happening. one of their brothers is on the plum tree. And so they are the ones who actually feed on the black plum at the present moment. So that is where we have a problem, Jarvis. Cameroon is struggling to claim that we want national unity and national integrity. We are claiming that we want peace, but we are doing just the things that will cause division. Because you can't claim that in a whole nation, we have 10 regions. 2 regions have 76% in a particular institution where we claim that there is need for regional balance, which is the central policy applied in that institution. You can't claim that that particular policy is in operation when 76% is coming from a particular region. That already is proof to us that that idea of regional balance is just a word of mouth. And this is to prove to you that there is a game that is taking place. There is a game taking place. Those who have been leading us for the past years, for over 20-something years today, I'm talking of, let's say, 30 years today, have been the people, the Bulu, let's say Bulu Beti people. They are the ones who are sitting in power in Cameroon. They are the one practically ruling. And so, you don't expect that when they are getting old and passing away, they should not pass it to their children.
So it's a rush of replacement.
It is a kind of replacement to make sure that they maintain their rulership of Cameroon. That is what is happening. They are not actually helping a situation because already there is a lot of grievances already in the hearts of a lot of persons. And Cameroonians are not sitting down. It is not because some people are not talking, but people are angry. We saw what happened in the Northwest and Southwest. The Anglophone region rose up and decided to want to back out from this union. This is to make the government of this nation understand that there are some policies that they keep implementing that will finally drive this nation into complete chaos. And if things like that do not happen now, if they do not adjust this particular situation, I am seeing a terrible situation that is coming forth. Because with this kind of attitude, I can't imagine. I was struggling to do the calculation. I was like, okay, 76% north, central, south, 3% east, that, then 4% northwest, southwest. That already makes within 5 regions, that is 80%, 83%. Then the north as a whole is 10. That's the whole Grand North is 10% something. That makes it how many? That's already 93%. 93%. Where is Littoral? And where is the West? So it means that,
and this is not just a system per se, because it's even the Grand North. If you look at the percentage of the Grand North, is limited.
10% for the entire Grand North. So and what makes I was saying when I saw the results, I said these people actually know that it's the people of Grand North that kept President Biya in power, because it is from the Grand North that he got the highest of votes. And if they are the ones that kept him in power, how can't he also, in one way or the other, compensate them by bringing them into that ENAM, if we have to follow that? So to me, I am looking at it like it is a replacement of those who are going. The age persons are going away, and so they are replacing the age group with their children, so that the Bulu Beti people should keep on ruling Cameroon. I know it is not, I would not want to say that it's supposed to be tribalism, but what I'm seeing in that particular the result is showing that there's a lot of tribalism in play, because the person who is head of ENAM is from the south. And if he is from the south, and majority of those who are have been brought into ENAM are from the south, then there is need for him to be replaced from that particular position.
It's 2 years into.
He's just 2 years into
2 years out of ENAM.
Yes,
appointed to be DG of his lecturers and people who have had senior experience.
Who have been his lecturers. Not only his lecturers, his administrators. He comes to head them. And you see, at times they say when you give a gun to a child, you don't expect more. What do you expect? He can shoot his father with it.
Is someone using the name of the president or the wife fulfill their individual egoism or agenda here?
I will not even want to enter into that because I don't know who is related to who there. But from what I am seeing, the fact that someone who has little or no experience, a baby who just left ENAM, has been given power, and he has abused it, because I looked at it and I saw 12 persons from the same family brought into ENAM. That is a crime against the laws of the nation. Because I just remember there's a law on tribalism that was voted it's not long ago. That would have been a reason why they should use that particular law on him. That young man is supposed to be sanctioned. Sincerely, I want to be sincere with you. It is true we might be looking at him as a person, but he is walking on a hot seat. There are individuals who are telling him what to do.
There should be more of his family members.
Yes. Family members.
Thank you, Professor Mark. We're coming back to you. Song, what explains this, and how much impact does this have in a society? You are a civil society advocate. How much impact does it have in the local man on the street?
You know, Cameroon is a comedy republic. Cameroon is manned by comedians, and we are just to laugh and watch things. In a country where meritocracy has been shown out of the door, and it is connections that connect people to position, you are bound to see what we see, because the civil or almost all who come out from ENAM, those who enter ENAM come out as if they have even lost their home training, the importance home training that parents gave them. When you enter ENAM, you come out as if that home training is lost. You start getting people working because they belong to families that are connected. Where is meritocracy? Those who deserve to be in positions, they are not there. Those who are connected to people who know people. Cameroon is not a country where you are employed or you are recruited as a result of what you know how to do. It's a country where you are recruited or employed as a result of who sent you. Who sent you to this office? So that's a fun time where when you ask someone from a poor background to go in for an exam, they will tell you that how can you write an exam that the results are already known? And these exams that were published, the sad story is people whose name are in, on the waiting list, their names are already in the list. It shows people are selected double. Some people are in cycle A, at the same time their names are in cycle B. We're asking ourselves, how is the coordination of a school that is claimed to be the most prestigious school that trains administrator of a comedy republic have such results published to the international world, to the whole world to see how porous the system is? Because people are put in position based on who they know.
Are you saying that those who actually whose name were there did not pass the exam? Did not pass the exam?
Javis, I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of they passed the exam. ENAM is an exam. Before you go in for ENAM, people always tell you that I can't go in for an exam that we already know. People will tell you that they know the cost price of passing ENAM. It's no doubt. And that is why when you go into ENAM, you as I have to pay money to succeed, to become a candidate of ENAM. When I graduate and I am sitting in a position, those who pass through me should pay back the money I paid before. And that is why the system has become a porous, corrupt system where corruption has eaten right to the deepest heart of all individuals. Especially, that's why I said it, that those who go to ENAM, they even come back, they even lost the home training that their parents gave them from birth, because that school dries you off every good moral attitude you have.
But this is a school. How do we explain this? This is a school which is supposed to instill morals and what we call citizenship and patriotism in the life of administrators.
It is a school that is built by the system. Like Professor Marx said it clearly, that it is a colonial school. And that school is built to please the system that is in place. That's why I would join people like Honorable O.C. Joshua to say that ENAM should be scrapped up. It's not important. It doesn't fulfill any purpose, because people should be appointed in position due to competence, savoir-faire, how much they can do, how much they can offer, not how much. For instance, I will tell you that there is a small boy in Bamenda, they call him Chi Style, the guy who does the caterpillar stuff. I think that if there is something somewhere to head something like engineering, that guy should be in that position to head, not people who have become professor in the name of ENAM, whereas they have nothing to offer to the society apart of speaking high sounding.
Are you saying that those selected
definitions
at ENAM cannot represent Cameroon and cannot offer goodness in Cameroon?
Javis, I don't know why you want to pull out words from my mouth. ENAM is a sham. ENAM is a scam. ENAM is not important. ENAM does not serve any purpose for Cameroonians.
Thank you very much, Song Derrick. I'll come back to you, Senior Barrister. Senior Barrister, regional council election. The reason why the government is going in for, says they want to effectively decentralize structures. But how do we explain this, that you are struggling to decentralize structures, and those who possibly could man this system of decentralization to police the regional councillors, they are mostly likely to come from a particular region to be the police of the regional councillors. We've seen that when we had the federal system of government, the federal inspector had problems with the Prime Minister of West Cameroon. There was always that clash because the federal inspector was appointed by the head of state and sometimes assumed the role of the head of state as far as the West Cameroon was concerned. And how is this going to play with this system of regional council, that we will still have some persons appointed to police these people? And looking at ENAM saga.
Thank you, Tama Javis. Before I come to that, that question, let us liquidate the first one. You see, I want people to understand this ENAM thing very well. ENAM simply means, going by the French acronym, École nationale de l'administration et de la magistrature. Let us say here that ENAM is styled after its French equivalent. French, I mean in France, equivalent, which is ENA of Paris, École nationale de l'administration of Paris. So Professor McAntony was very right to say it's a colonial institution. They just copied it from France and pasted here. Now, my learned gentleman over there said it is a scam. Javis, tell me, you take a young man who has just obtained a first degree, that he's just gone through university. To become a magistrate, you need matrics. That is 4 years in the university. He comes out, no previous training anyway. You leave him in ENAM for 1 year, and then the following year you send him to the field. After that, you become magistrate. What training do you think you can give that type of person to become a magistrate? It's a scam. It's a scam. Oh,
not even someone who have practiced in court.
My God, look, that is the reality. If any person has something, let him tell us. That is what obtains. These children leave the bench. They spend 1 year in ENAM, 1 year in the field, and they are magistrates. When this school was created, they said it was because there was scarcity of judicial personnel and administrative personnel, so they had to make a school where they would train them very fast. But today, we have well over 5,000 lawyers in Cameroon. Where do you still find the scarcity? ENAM today in the
and why even the scarcity? What's
from
so
the
hard?
judicial standpoint, there is no scarcity of judicial personnel in Cameroon today.
That let's assume there was that scarcity, but why the scarcity where there could just be a possibility of creating a law school?
No, in 1960, when this thing was created after independence, there was no judicial personnel. You see, Southern Cameroon had the advantage of having its institution in place. We had our bar, we had everything. In fact, in the Southern Cameroon government, we had about 4 lawyers. You see, Southern Cameroon was ready, but the Republic of Cameroon was not ready. They did not have those personnel, it is true. So, one could understand that at that time they needed something like ENAM to hurriedly train judicial personnel that they will inject into the system. But I'm saying that today, with a bar association that is very, very buoyant, accompanied by notaries association, bailiffs association, and all whatnot, there is no scarcity of judicial personnel in Cameroon to warrant the existence of an encomiament like ENAM. So we are saying that, in fact.
So are you saying the state is duping its people, its citizens, or what? In a sense,
the party that is running the state is actually duping the people. I want to remind my friend here that you see, the people who talk about ENAM being scrapped, it is not SDF. Look at SDF manifesto; it does not feature there. It is inside Reform Party manifesto. You find that Mr. OC picked it up. We've never bothered to bother him about that because SDF manifesto does not have anything on ENAM. It is Reform Party manifesto that says that we'll scrap ENAM and transform it into a law school, just as you were saying. Good. So let me come back now to the question I was supposed to answer. You see, when you go back memory lane and you talk about the federal administrators being appointed to come and oversee the states, you know what that gave. The federal administrator was, in fact, a federal colonial administrator who was acting as prime minister. So when you see what is happening today, that they create regions out of states. To understand this, you have to go back a bit. Now, in 1961, when we were asked after the plebiscite of 11th of February, the United Nations said, okay, the resolution 1541 talks about states that were not self-governing. Self-governing states, we have treated their own status. Now, Southern Cameroon is a self-governing state. We cannot send it to 1541. They held an independence session for Southern Cameroons. For the Cameroons, not even for the Cameroons. That session of the 23rd of April was an independence session. Go check it up. It was the independence vote for Southern Cameroons. Republic of Cameroon voted, and they voted against. So, if you look at what happened in that session, you will understand what we are living today. Because in that vote, it was said, the people having freely decided, okay, Article 2, we recognize that they have attained independence. And that independence will be effective 1st of October.
Okay.
And they said, go, okay, Article 5, sign a union treaty with the Republic of Cameroon, overseen by Britain, which is administrative authority. That article talks of the government of Southern Cameroons, the Republic of Cameroon, and the administrative authority. So, in order not to sign the union treaty, President ACHU convened the FOMUKONG Constitutional Conference. When he reached there, he gave Foncha his draft federal constitution. Foncha, not knowing what to do with it, did not even show his lawyers who were in his team. He sent it to England. The English people called ACHU and said, no, you can't talk constitution when you have not signed the union treaty. They met in August in Yaoundé, and nothing was signed. So, ACHU at this juncture, ACHU took his federal constitution, his draft federal constitution, sent it to his own parliament in Yaoundé, and that parliament introduced it as a constitutional amendment, which was made into law on the 1st of September 1961. Look, we were to attain independence on the 1st of October. But before 1st of October, 1st September, ACHU already signed his federal constitution of his own country.
Okay.
Including us inside. No, you have to understand this background before you can understand what is happening now. So he sandwiched Southern Cameroons inside the Republic of Cameroon constitution, as if Southern Cameroon were just some territory that was flying in the air. They put it inside what we later on had to call federal constitution. Now, as of that 1st September, which was the territory ACHU was referring to as Cameroon Meridional, because When you look at the translation, it says Southern Cameroon. It is not Southern Cameroon. Read it. Read the French version. They say Cameroun, le territoire du Cameroun méridional. Article 1. Cameroon méridional. There was no such territory existing anywhere in the world, because we have a state of Southern Cameroon and not Cameroon méridional. So from that day, when Southern Cameroon had independence on the 1st of October with Nigeria at the same time, we were celebrating. Mr. ACHU was present with us.
Senor Barrister, no time is not on our
I'm
side
sorry,
there,
sir.
so
He
we
was
have
present with us and left there now to go make his tours. From that time, he started behaving now like a colonial administrator. And what you are seeing today is a relic of what ACHU did in 1961. Because from there, he appointed Nseke, federal administrator. And the federal,
Federal Inspector.
who had the same powers as the prime minister. He was a concurrent, a parallel prime minister. And you know all the work that he did. So the regions they are coming up now, they are giving a mini federal inspector to the region, the regional inspectors, who will have the same powers as the regional people, who can contradict them and who can even impose their wills on them.
Okay.
So that is why I said here that I would like the government to be given a chance to put in place their decentralization, their special status, so that we prove to them that it is empty, that it has no powers.
Okay, thank you very much, Senior Barrister. Brian from Boko, are you there with us?
Here, Jarvis.
We are looking at the context where the government is struggling to readjust the system by telling us that regional council election is around the corner and the regional councillors will have the sole privilege in terms of managing their affairs. But what powers will they have as far as we have the governors of the region who are still being appointed by the head of state to sit in? And equally, looking at this context of ENAM, if we can see for ENAM itself that Anglophones are not given the privileges in terms of regional balance, because we cannot say that Anglophones are not that intelligent to have just 4%. Where are we?
Well, Jarvis, first let me begin by commenting on the issue of ENAM and the director, which other panelists are commenting that he's just been there for 2 years. First, I am an advocate for youth empowerment, and I believe that young people should be given the opportunity. But in a situation where when they are given the opportunity and they don't make judicious use of the opportunity, they should be booted out. That's just my opinion. And coming back to the regional councils and the autonomy on how well they'll be able to function as independently as possible, I must say I've looked at all the draft laws and everything put in place, and I will tell you that it's a scam, if I may put it that way. It's just something which it's a window dressing, which the government is struggling to do, because you cannot have a regional council which is elected with people empowered by their communities, by the population to work, and yet you are bringing in a delegate appointed, still those boys from ENAM who are coming in now to function as spies, because they are there as members of the council. But the actual fact is, they are the shot callers. They are the ones determining what happens, because they are there representing the interests of the state. Whatever the council deliberates on, which doesn't suit the interest of the state, they have the power, they have the authority to counteract that. So it's just a whole scam which the government is struggling to do with the population, making them feel like, okay, we are giving you some degree of power, we are giving you some degree of autonomy,
so in essence,
but actually nothing is happening.
In essence, this 76% is to inject more monitoring mechanism into the system, so that when the regional council is called upon, you can have effective control in both houses.
Definitely. That's how I see it, because at the end of the day, if you create a balance with admission into ENAMs, and you have to appoint those regional delegates who have to lord over the regional councils, you have to send in, at the end of the day, you will not have adequate people who will represent your interests. If you send me, somebody from the Anglophone zone, to go and lord over a council from the southwest or the northwest region of Cameroon, I would definitely want to look at the interests of my people first. That is obvious. But when you send in somebody who thinks like, okay, every royalty should be paid back to the state, therefore they will dance the rhythm of the music which the state is playing, And at that point, you are rendering the regional councils powerless.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. Stand by. We'll come back to you. Professor Mark, looking at what Brian said, that this is a system to fill the house because regional elections is around the corner, and we are seeing a mad rush, as you equally earlier had pointed out, that it's a system equal of replacement of the old guards who are going out, the new guards who are coming in. But the sad reality is that Anglophone elites are muted.
Like you actually use that word muted. I have a problem that with all this cacophony happening, there is no word that has come from those whom we claim to be the elites of our own region. The question is, why are they there? Those whom we elected into the parliament, why have they not spoken? The senators, why have they not spoken? The administrators, why are they saying nothing? Is it like somebody is actually muted them from talking? Or is it like they're afraid of talking? Or is it for their benefit? Because I don't want to think it's for their benefit also. Since naturally they are leaving, they will soon be leaving office. Whether by death or by resignation or by expulsion, they will leave. And so, are they not preparing for their own children's future, or are they only thinking of themselves? Because that is the greedy nature of some of our brothers. They think of themselves. They are so self-centered that they don't see the future of their own kids. Because when we look at things, the situation of things in Cameroon, you start asking questions. Is it like our own people? Are they not thinking for the best of their own children? Some of them think maybe it is when the money that they are going to keep in their bank accounts, and maybe they'll build this and that and keep in Swiss or whatsoever, that will protect their children. I will be mentioning this. A time will come when that will not be able to survive. But those who are willing to make a difference, I think that when you stay quiet in the midst of injustice, you are an accomplice. You are an accomplice to injustice. So irrespective of which office you occupy, it is time for some of them to lift up their voices and talk. A dead man should not be afraid of death. Because as long as I understand, the people from this region, it's like Senior Barrister said, that the Anglophone, the Southern Cameroons was actually sandwiched. That's to make sure that they are pressed from both sides, from below and from above. Not having a voice. But do you know that irrespective of how long a people stay under pressure, there will be a time when there will be a return voice. Let me use it that way. So what I'm simply saying here is, Javis, all these ideas of regional councils, this and that, appointing individuals, in fact, collecting individuals from one region and filling them in ENAM, whom they know very well that they will use the same people to send to go make sure that they work for the benefit of the state, in quotes, because that state is a state of some particular regions. Because from what I've seen, the state of Cameroon is a state belonging to the Beti Bulu people.
Well, how can you define that?
I am saying from what I'm seeing in ENAM, I'm not saying that is.
But we have people like Minister Paul Atanganji, the government.
See, I am not
We
refusing.
have people like Peter
See,
Mafani Mosonge.
You heard
we have
me-
people like Chief Dr. Joseph Dongote.
I would like that
We
if
have
you
people
hear what
like-
I've
No,
said.
let me just enlist them.
No,
so
don't
that
enlist because I know all of them. I said in quotes because it is not what it's supposed to be. But from the ENAM results, I have a feeling that this nation belongs to two regions. I'm not saying that that is what is, but from that particular ENAM result, I have a feeling that we are made to believe that just two regions have control of the nation. They can't be the best students in Cameroon alone. And I'll still mention the regional balance stuff. If we are using that policy, such an issue, such a result should never happen in Cameroon. And so it should be cancelled. Let that exam be retaken. And so you can't claim that we are in a nation and two regions are busy running, putting things in fact, two regions are considered the majority in a national institution. That's a national institution. It is not a particular region's institution. And it's not a private institution. Which implies that those who are being taken into that institution should follow the same criteria. Meritocracy is supposed to be what is supposed to be put on ground, not a particular, not favoritism, not tribalism, not regionalism. So those are the things that we need to look into. If we have to have better regional councils actually being overseen by national delegates, these national delegates should not be from two regions. Because from what I am seeing here, it will end up happening like that. So, as long as I'm concerned, those results are imbalanced, and so it's supposed to be cancelled. And not only cancelled, but let the person, the director of that institution, be sacked with an immediate effect, so that the Cameroon national territory can be respected, and not only the national territory, let there be what I call inter-regional balance, and let there be unity indeed, because that is proof that that director does not like peace in Cameroon. That director does not want national unity. So, as long as I'm concerned, I will repeat that again. Let that young man be sacked from that institution.
Okay. So why do we have people, prominent elite, staying mute as far as this is concerned?
You know, I'm one of the persons who do not believe in defining an elite the way others define. I'm not one of the fans of thinking that an elite is someone who is working for Yaoundé. I believe elitism is love and patriotism. And I believe the farmer who does subsistence farming and feeds the environment is more of an elite than those who stay in Yaoundé to feed Yaoundé fat. So when you talk of elites being mute, I don't know who you're talking to. If you are talking about those Yaoundé loyalists, hand clappers, I'm not for them.
But how do you define them as hand clappers whom they have been able to do lots as far as galvanizing forces for national unity and integration is concerned, and building like someone like Ngala Gerard boosting up back to school campaign in KUMBER, somebody like Minister Paula Tanganji, we have Chief Dr. Joseph Dongute, Minister
Continue with the litany. You can call and call and call. Continue with the litany. I don't know why people like us to sugarcoat things. I don't like speaking with sugar-coated mouth, because I'm telling you, if you define elites by those names you're calling, then we have no elites. We have no elites. Elites should be people who put the interests of their people at heart, who have their concern, who have them in mind. People will not run away from their constituencies, from their sitting environment to stay in Yaoundé and think that they know the problems of the people that they are representing feel on ground. We heard one who went to Manfe and came back and said, Manfe people are not in the bushes. Should we call that an elite? Whereas the reality on ground tells us that the people are in the bushes. So please, when you are defining elite, I do not buy into that dictionary definition of elite as you think. I don't. And when we talk of this ENAM saga, this drama that the actors are acting, we are every day preaching about regional balance, being inclusive. We are talking about the problem of eating together. But some people are eating 76% of the cake. And 8 other regions are sharing 24%. How balanced is that balance? And you want us to talk sugar-coatedly. And those people you call elite are folding their arms because they are eating from the crumbs that are falling from the master's table. You want us to clap for them. How should we? What stops Cameroon and its government to say that there are 10 regions, and if 100 persons are needed in ENAM, 10 should come from each region? Multiply by 10 to give you 100, so that they should be equal. What stops the government from making sure that 10 should be, in this case, I'm borrowing the word Northwest, 10 should come from Northwest, 10 should come from Southwest, 10 from Littoral, 10 from Central, and all the like. What stops them from doing that?
Okay.
And then at the end, we end up having some people having 76% and 24% being shared to 8 other regions. And then you want us to clap. And then those people who are supposed to talk, those people you define and call as elite, because they already have their fufu to eat, they will not talk, because it is those people, they have nuts, that are suffering. They already have something.
Okay.
And they have nuts in the street. Those people who even have the talent, the ability to offer something, they have been silenced, because when you drop a document somewhere, instead of asking you, what can you do? They ask you, who sent you?
Okay. Good afternoon to the panelists. Please, ENAM is a fraud. I have written 5 times but refused by interview on something I merit, looking on my higher education from University of Yaoundé 2. So I am Etienne Junior from Boya, Cameroon. This other one reads, it says, greetings comrade. I have said and I will still say it is imminent what happened in Abidjan, just where opposition and youth came together in Homsu Stadium to say no to Alassane Ouattara. Let's do same in Cameroon. If not, what happened to ENAM will never cease. He says that the reason why they are muted is because they have also bribed the family members into school like an ENS, and so the poor should perish. According to those elite, it's coming from Gong Song. And this other one reads, it says, good day to all the panelists. I think those who want to move out of this union with the government of Cameroon are right. What we are seeing from this ENAM is Kwanyaya. Thank you very much. I think I will take on this other one on the WhatsApp. Those who say, good afternoon, Ta and learned gentlemen in the studio. Thank for sensitive topic. I agree with Song, who says Cameroon is a comic republic. When one person heads all institutions, you can think of that. The most of the outcome to their kingdom come is coming from Akemi Julius in Bangem. And this other read, it says, good afternoon to you all in the studio. I think it's an interesting topic. Senior Barrister should always be on the program because I have gained a lot from him as far as to this program is concerned. This other one, it says, good afternoon to you all in the studio. I agree with Prof. Mark. They are replacing their old guard, and it is high time we come together to say no to this. And this is coming from Egwe in Boya Town. And because of time constraint, I may not have to read all this information. Move to part 2 of the program. Senior Barrister, we are looking at the battle for Kumba City mayor, which is to be rerun. As far as that is concerned, we understand this is a municipality where SDF claimed they were cheated, and we still have fraud even at the level of an election within the ruling party. The problem now is a people's choice or the party's choice.
Thank you. Let me just give on a legal standpoint, let me clear something which we ought to have done before. The previous question that you asked, how can you appoint people to come and supervise elected officials? Now, from the Constitution, the definition is given of Cameroon as a unitary decentralized state. And the institutions, that's the constitution talking, the institutions of Cameroon are the regions and the councils. Now, from that standpoint, you see that the law on local administration is a heresy because it is running contrary to the constitution, which tells you that the institutions are the regions and the council. The council does not make room for anybody to come and control regions. So, Mr. Chief Justice Clement Tangana as described by the constitution. Now you're coming to regional elections. You want to know whether it is the party's choice or the people's choice. We have to understand that regional elections, first of all, are elections which are special in the sense that it is indirect suffrage. It is not universal suffrage. That is, the population is not called upon to vote. It is the councillors that constitute the electorate. Now, I have to say this because as a party head, I have the opportunity to know what is happening. In a case like this one where it is the councillors who are going to be the voters, it is very difficult for a political party, to control the voters. Because in elections, you have what they call the party discipline. The party will say, okay, we are voting for this and that. Now, how does that translate in the field? When these people go down to the ballot boxes, does the party have any means of making sure that this councillor, this CPDM councillor who is entering the ballot box entering the polling station must vote only what the party wanted? The law on, the electoral code makes sure that the party should not intervene at that level. It is ELECAM's duty and the duty of the polling officers. You see, so the party is completely kept aside. And that is why I personally think that KUMBER Council may have more CPDM councillors. But these elections are the people's, the councillors' choice. Because if the councillors realize that CPDM is proposing candidates who are not worth their salt, and that some other party has better candidates, if they love their community and they want their community to go ahead, they will vote for talent, they will vote for competence, they will vote for some person who is going to enhance progress in their society. The party is unfortunately in the disadvantage in this type of election because the party has no means of controlling the outcome from the ballot box.
But the councillors are the members of the party. The councillors voted overwhelmingly for the current city mayor. We've seen that they said there are some elites who want a different candidate to be the city mayor and has been pushing for this.
If you understood me well, Mr. Javis, I'm saying that the outcome from the polling station cannot be controlled by any political party because the electoral body will be there to make sure that no other person interferes with the election. So the political party can only give voting instructions. We want that. This is our choice for the KUMBER Council. But if the councillors who have to go and vote realize that the candidate being tabled by their party is not as good as some other person from the other parties, and they want progress, they want their society to progress, they will surely go in for competence, for talent, for a man of personality and all that. And their party has no means of stopping that because once the councillor is in the polling station, there is no way his party can influence him. The party cannot say, bring back all the, for example, what they do in other elections, say, bring back all the ballots of all the other people that you do not use. Bring back. No.
Okay.
Elector will collect all those ballot papers. And you will come out of the ballot box of the polling station without anything. So there is no way your party will know whether you have voted for X or for Y. They will only see from the results that this is what obtained. Can you go disciplining a councillor because he voted for X and not for Y? It is not possible. That's illegal.
Okay,
So the political parties are at a loss here, and I am calling on those councillors to be nationalistic. Please vote your people's interest. Don't blindly follow party politics that will not lead your people to anything.
Good day, my media partner. I support you, sir. They are not elite, but aliens. By Sako from Limbe. Come back to you for Brian FOMUKONG.
Yes, Jarvis.
You are from Meme, and we are talking politics and equally looking at your area. You have seen the battle for Kumba City Mayor, where we had the elections were done and Gwakele took over, and after a while they said the SDO was not supposed to sign that A, B, C, and D, and where we are, and it is rumored that some prominent elites are pushing for a candidate. The people's choice or the party's choice?
Well, Jarvis, what is happening currently with the Kumba City Council, it's a reflection of what's happening across the entire country, where we feel like some people are more Cameroonians than others. We feel like some people are the only persons to be in position of authority, or we feel like, okay, only a group of people or friends of a particular people can be in positions of authority. And this is not just affecting the regions, it's affecting the whole nation, it's affecting the entire growth of the nation. Now, we should understand that when it comes to the level of the city councils, we are looking at somebody who will be able to work with the people, work in collaboration with other councillors, and work in general with the population. And if you get somebody who is not loved by councillors themselves, who is not loved by his or her own people, then how do you expect that person to push for development, to push for growth of the municipality, except you want that person to work for Yaoundé and not for the people? These are the things we are looking at. If we actually want somebody who will be able to mobilize the community, galvanize them to achieve projects within that municipality, then I think the people's choice should be respected.
Okay, thank you very much, Brian FOMUKONG. Come now to you, Professor Mark. This Kumba City Council battle for city mayor, it has an implication. I'm sure last time we talked about the implication, but we are looking at the election which will be in a few days to come. The people's choice or the party's choice? Because it's more of a party's choice now.
That's why I wanted to say that this is different from the regional council elections. It's practically a CPDM election that is taking place. It's an in-house election because it is between CPDM members.
But why will you have an election within your side and you still have issue of...
That's to make you understand how fragmented and how corrupt the entire party and system is. Because you can't claim that we did an election and they already had a city mayor that has been running for over months. Then because some individuals had pushed some buttons, we come up again and we attend the Supreme Court comes up to say, okay, that particular election has been cancelled and it needs to be rerun. We will expect that the people's choice should be, let's even say it is still the same party, but let the people of Kumba, whom are in that party, who had made that decision that CPDM should be the leading party in that particular city, they should be the ones to choose who should be their city mayor. It should not be something that should be coming from so-called elites of that region. Because that city mayor is supposed to be working for the people of Kumba, not for the party. He's not supposed to be working for the party. You see, this is the problem I have with Cameroon. There's a lot of those who are elected into office. If you look at the way they are operating, especially under the ruling party, they work as if they have been appointed by the president. Because they know that it is not the people who put them in power. And as a result of that, they don't care the way the people react. So They do what they want. And that is what we have as a problem in this nation.
Because if you look at Kumba very well, the city mayor has been able to stabilize the town for a while, and he has been able to carry out projects and see into either Kumba fast develop. But there is that pressure from from few elites who feel like because he's not allegiance to them, because he doesn't toe their lines, there is need for a different city mayor.
That is the problem. Towing city party lines is naturally good, but working for the benefit of the people is supposed to be supreme above party decisions and party objectives, because the most important reason for that party created is to serve the nation. It's not to serve the party. And so if it is for the service of the people, if the people, or say the councillors, identified an individual whom they thought is going to serve their purpose, then they did well. And I will still say this: the election is still to take place. I think it's 16 December. As it is coming up, when that election takes place, let those councillors make sure they go cast the vote for the right person whom they believe is going to work for the city of Kumba, not the person whom they think that the party is imposing on them, because it is not for the party that that person will be working. He's working for Kumba.
Okay.
So Kumba should be the focus, not the party. So when they go to elect, let them elect somebody who's going to bring development, somebody who is going to be objective in doing what he has been elected to be done. And so when we look at this situation in the CPDM, because this is really a problem, because within the party, that's to just tell you how the entire political system in Cameroon is like. And so we need to work on that. It's just like you cannot actually advise people to abandon the politics generally. If not, it would have been easy to do that.
Okay.
But I'll tell you that we need to be able to advise our councillors to make sure they make the right choices for the benefit of the people.
So the people's choice or the party's choice. The people want the current person. They voted for him based on their councillor, because the councillors received the mandate from the people. And the councillors now comes and vote for their city mayor. And because some few disgruntled elites of all ages feel they have their own role to play, they just decided that to push behind the scene, and the elections were nullified, that it should be rerun based on the signature of the SDO.
When I say Cameroon is a comedy republic, you think I'm joking. From what you are saying and from what is happening, is going to be another electoral appointment, because nothing will change, I think. And to me, it should be, this is not a topic to discuss about, because it is going to be another electoral appointment. It will be an election. Yes.
This is the first time I'm hearing an appointment which is in the electoral process.
Well, it's Cameroon. There's nothing that's impossible with Cameroon. It will be an election that is in the form of an appointment. Somebody appointing who should be there, but giving the name election. This is Cameroon, and we understand the gimmicks of the Yaoundé cabals. You know, 75 councillors will be going on to carry out the elections, but something is going to happen. Cameroon is advanced in its machinery to run elections, and we know what will happen. So, left to me, this is not a topic to discuss. Let CPDM have their enlarged meeting and conclude. It's nothing for us, the civil society. We don't have something to say. But if we have to advise anybody who is going in for the elections, and whosoever will be elected and appointed, then we should say it is about the people first.
Okay.
It is about the people. The voice of the people is the voice of God. And if you are working, make sure you work to develop the place, because all of us made this country, and we are going to leave the country. So when you are given an opportunity, you are chosen by people, you should lead those people with the fear of God, knowing that if those people were to be your children, your own very children, you will leave them with something that you have to boast about, and it should be to contribute for nation building.
Good data, keep the good work. God bless my media prime, Harry from Tombell. This other one read, it says, good day, my media prime. I support you, sir. They are not elite. Thank you very much. This other one reads, it says, good afternoon, gentlemen. From the ENAM result, it is not eloquent proof that those who have picked up arms are right. We are right to say that we should divide this country, so that even with the present dispensation, that North and Southwest can only get 2% each from ENAM result. Is coming from Kazwa from Loom. This Kazwa from Loom, and this other one reads, it says, good afternoon to you all in the studio. Politics in Kumba has always been detected by the elite, and that's how Ngokele became government delegate to be embarrassment of the people. Today the table have turned against him, and he should not complain about what is happening as far as that is concerned within the municipality. And this one is coming from Orok from Metasquata. Orok from Metasquata. This other one reads, it says, good afternoon to you all. ENAM is training and appointing only those who are from a wealthy family and from particular regions, but try to see what is the job of the board chairman in ENAM. But trying to see what's the job of the board chairman in ENAM. Thanks to all those of you who've sent us their messages. Senior Barrister ACHU, we are fast running out of time. Your last words before we take leave of you, looking at the context of ENAM, and where do we go from here?
Well, thank you very much. I want to say a word on this thing of elite. We of recent saw some so-called elites. People who find themselves in comfortable positions and big luxurious mansions in Yaoundé, thanks to the magic of appointment. They did not pass any particular competitive exam to earn the positions they are occupying. People who earn what their livelihood by self-denial. Self-denial. I mean, even when the government says, we recognize that there is a state of Southern Cameroon. I see Southern Cameroonians who say there was never a state of Southern Cameroon. I mean, those type of people, you call them elites. Whoever elected them to be elites, to represent who? They went there as civil servants to Yaoundé to go and look for job. They got employment and they were promoted and appointed. They don't represent anybody except themselves and their salaries that they earn. Please, when you are defending your job, think of the people back there at home. They need the truth to stay alive. So when you are taking those positions that you are seeking for employment and promotions, know that you are doing so on the blood of your people, on the sweat of your people, on the suffering of your people. I mean, if you have been a minister for 20 years, how will that profit you to continue being a minister till you die? You will not build skyscrapers if after 20 years you have not built one. You will not build skyscrapers if you are given another mandate. Please, a bit of conscience. I am a lawyer in DOUALA. I have to tell the truth. You do any bad thing, I will tell you this is not correct. The day we shall have the opportunity of having free and fair elections, the people will choose their real elites. But for today, most of these people in Yaoundé there, they were not sent by anybody. It is appointment that carried them there. It is job opportunity that carried them there. So stop misrepresenting our people and stop giving bad impressions about things that you know. You know the things. Why do you tell lies when you know the truth? You try to hide it. You try to camouflage it. Please. I would have loved to hear your position on all these things that are happening now. You are supporting injustice, flagrant injustice. This is it now, 4%. ENAM. That means that in the coming years, we shall have nobody to represent us in the public administration. What are you saying? There was never any Southern Cameroon, never any independence. There was you as minister. Thank you. I think that people should be ashamed of themselves. People should get up from their slumber and stand for the truth. You give me all the food in this Cameroon. Can that make me fatter? Can one lorry load of plantain make 10 years sardinata grow fatter? No, sir. Please. It's our nature. No amount of food, no amount of chop can make me grow bigger than this that I am today. So I think that we all have one nation to defend. We have the interest. I mean, how many more years will I live? Youngsters have to take over from us. And when we go, we should leave a heritage that should be of truth, a heritage that should be able to sustain our children. When we are dying, we should know that we are leaving behind us peace, not pieces. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senior Barrister. Brian FOMUKONG, we are fast running out of time. Where do we go from here? Your last word, briefly.
Well, Jarvis, all I have to say is we are all Cameroonians, and there's no one Cameroonian who is better than another. There's no one Cameroonian who is more Cameroonian than the other. We all bleed the same blood color, which is red. There's no one Cameroonian who has a different color of blood. And I think those in power and those advocating for regional balance, for decentralization and all of this should actually put it to task and put it to work. It's not all about saying it on TV, preaching something else, and going behind to do a whole different something. It doesn't tell well for us as individuals, it doesn't tell well for the country, and it doesn't tell well for the visions we plan to achieve as a nation, individually and collectively. All these putting in place, we have to strike for balance, strike for equality wherever we go. It's not just empowering people from the same place. Empower everybody. If every Cameroonian gets to be empowered, Cameroonians across the board, across the regions are equally empowered.